All right, welcome to the Rocket Launcher Podcast. This is episode 46, and I am your host, Supreme King, joined with my co-host, as always, and his name is...
It's your guy Omazes.
How you doing today, sir? How's everything?
I'm doing great. I finally beat Guacamelee Super Turbo Championship Edition. I made it to the last level in like 2020, 2021, and then just hadn't had time to pick it up since.
That's the first one, right? Or is it the second one?
That's the first one.
Because I played it too, and I was like, honestly, I was using it to learn Spanish as well, if I remember correctly, but I put it down like over a year ago as well and didn't finish it, but it is still on my little, like, I have this like clipboard or whatever with like a whole bunch of names and stuff that I haven't beat that I want to finish because I don't want to drop anything and just drop it unless it's just terrible.
Yeah.
So
no, I get that. Yeah, man, it was good. I will say for anybody who's looking for a platformer with challenge, that one, it starts off like, here's the basics, like here's how you attack, here's how you move forward, and all this other stuff. Like it starts off like, here's this nice stuff, and then it just switches, and it's like, now that you know the basics, figure it out, and they just throw everything at you all at once. And you just gotta go. You gotta learn attack patterns. They will overwhelm you with enemies. And
so
yeah, it goes crazy.
Are you gonna pick up the second one right away, or just wait on?
Already own it. I'm gonna be picking it up. Already own it. I'll probably be starting it soon-ish.
Yeah, that's what I meant. I meant where's you gonna start it right away?
Sometime before the summer ends, I'm gonna start it.
Okay. For anybody wondering, the game on the screen is Eldest Souls. That is like a top-down, Souls-like game. You can see me fighting the boss right here, and you should be able to find this everywhere relatively cheap if you want to play it. PC is obviously going to be the best place to get it real cheap. I think it was like hovering around $10. But I think it's 13 main bosses in the game, and this one is like boss number 3 or 4, if I remember correctly. So I got a lot of this kind of footage, and I was like just going to try to start putting footage on there where I play a game every now and then, as well as just the regular footage that we normally have, just to add variety to the podcast, But on the agenda today, we're going to talk about the not so good news surrounding Jedi Survival, the sequel to Jedi or Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Then we're going to talk about, Dead Island 2, more positive news there. Also, Armored Core 6 actually got a real showing and a release date. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the situation with Xbox. I already did a video on it, but we're going to get my co-host's perspective and talk a little bit more about the reasoning, which was cloud gaming, because I don't think I really spoke on that really in the video itself, but talk about that. Then we're going to actually backpedal a little bit because we did not get a chance to speak on the Street Fighter showcase as well as the Nintendo Indie show. So we're going to throw some stuff in there from that and little stuff here and there. Stick around to the very end if you want to nerd out on content surrounding Power Rangers, Transformers, and Godzilla, because we're going to talk about the trailers and the Netflix special and some of the figures and stuff that came along with that for that content. So leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already. But from the beginning, though, man, what happened with Jedi Survival? Because I know this is one of your games more than it is mine. Because
its first mistake was that it required like 155 gigs on PC, where it was like 48 or something like that on console. That was the first telling. Then it's not working if you have a high-end graphics card. So when I was actually reading Steam comments, and people were saying their specs of like they had like a 3090 or something in the 4000s, and it was like 30 frames per second barely, like it was like stuttering to make it to 30 frames per second. It was crashing, extreme loading times. Just everything was looking like a mess. Somebody said it was worse than the Last of Us make thing that came out. That horrible one.
Some of those screenshots were still hilarious because it looked like he was like burnt or something. I don't know what was happening with Joel, but yeah,
crispy. But so people were saying it's worse than that because they can't even play it. And like I saw one comment that was like loading screen 10 out of 10, but I can't tell you about the rest of the game because I can't get to it. But then one person, when I finally found a comment of somebody who could play, they had a 2070. And they were like, I've been able to, they said the first planet was a little stuttery, but after that, it's been working great. And they had a 2070 graphics card. So EA finally put out a little thing where they said, hey, it seems like it's not really working for you rich folk with the high-end graphics card. That's a shame.
Yeah,
but you're going to have to
strange.
give us some time to fix it because you don't understand how the working man works. And we need time to like actually fix some stuff. So bear with us as we try to make this work for all you rich people out there.
Yeah,
like,
it sounded like they blamed the performance on people who have high-end hardware. They kind of literally said that high-end GPUs, and they also like it almost sounded like they took a dig in a way because it was like high-end GPUs coupled with lower performing CPUs. Yeah. Which is like that's the people who like to upgrade. And it sounded like they were just kind of like just blaming the people, and it's like, well, what about you just optimizing, before it comes out? It just seems strange. I was really disappointed because when we were talking about a lot of games, like in the past couple episodes, of just what's going to be in the game of the year category, it seems like there's a spot for everybody now, and this one wasn't really on the list like that for me, but it would have been like number 6 or 7 if they had only like a top 5, you know what I mean? But with the way that it came out, it's possible that it might not even get nominated, which it's sad. I feel like it's a shame because it's still a really big, like a big franchise that they were like creating within Star Wars, because it was one of the games that was considered good, while a lot of things was always considered like bad or not up to par. And didn't they just announce another Star Wars game where they show like a CGI trailer and then like literally canceled it like another month later? What was that? Yeah. What was the name of it? It was like really dark looking.
They had Star Wars. It was the Knights of the Old Republic.
Yeah.
KOTOR. So they were doing a remake of Knights of the Old Republic where they showed the lead guy in there, and then they were like, development hell. And then there was that other one where they were doing the playing the drums.
Yeah, it was that one. I'm like, what? I don't know what name that one was, but it was like really dark looking. I was like, yo, they was really crazy with it. It didn't seem like Star Wars at all in a way. And then that was the one where they just like canceled it. It was just
Star Wars Eclipse.
Yeah, Eclipse. I'm like, what's going on? But this one was the one that stuck, and it got to the point where they had a whole nother, release, and it was a big AAA game, with the mocap and everything, with the actor, and it's just they couldn't get it done, man. They couldn't get it done. I'm pretty sure it'll be patched up eventually. It's just it goes on to.
They even said eventually. They said eventually, but like. You're going to have to wait. They're like, don't expect it next week. Like, you're going to have to hold on.
I just know for myself, it kind of discouraged me a little bit overall when it comes to like really wanting to spend a lot of money on like high-end hardware, because I don't see the point no more in a way, because like we just got done with like the Last of Us port on PC as well, just being like, it seemed like they just throw them on there. They just throw them directly on PC, and like the PC audience is being treated like their last place in a way. But they
do you think part of it is because the PC audience fixes it themselves? So they're like, well, what's the point of doing all this work? They'll do it.
To an extent, yes, but then there's also what is it called? Denuvo, whatever it's called, where they check to make sure that your copy of the game is authentic. I think it's called de novo, but Yeah, there's also that though, which kind of also hinders the performance a little bit. I just know for myself, I was hesitant a little bit because I didn't know exactly what parts I wanted exactly. You know, I wanted to make sure it was high end, but I didn't know if I wanted it to be like it had to be a 3090 or a 4090. I would always want to go for the latest hardware. But I know like it's going to cost a pretty penny, and if I'm going to make that type of purchase, I want to make sure it's perfect. But then on the other end, it's like, okay, you got this nice hardware, but then the games that come out for it, it's like, you know, they can't optimize for your hardware. They're like specifically saying that now. Like EA now is saying that EA is not an indie developer. You know what I mean? Like it's not
Right.
Well, they're pretty large. Basically, it's not like whoever did Biomutant. You know, like so for that to be like that is just, it kind of discourages me because I do like want to upgrade. I still am. I'm not really in a hurry anymore. Before I was like, man, I can't wait to do it. And I got to make sure the parts are ready and wait till they're really available. And now they're kind of available. They're just a little expensive. But like, if I really wanted to like finance it or something, I probably could do it like as early as next week or something. But it's like, I don't see the point of hurrying to get a really beefy PC tower anymore.
Yeah.
It just takes the taste out of my mouth a little bit. Like it's bad.
I currently have a GTX 1060.
Okay.
And I have not had a desire to upgrade it. Yeah.
Right.
So, and when I got it, GTX 1060 was like a good one to get. Because they were just now getting to like, I think they just hit the, like 20, like 2070, and it was like still like, you know, it was like about to come out. So like, it was still good, and I just never upgraded since then because I mainly play on console.
Yeah.
And part of that reason is because that too, it's the optimization stuff and like having to deal with things being broken, all this other stuff. So it's just like, like I'll upgrade later when I'm getting towards the I don't want to buy another console sort of idea. Then it's like everything I play is going to be like probably older, and everything will be like done and fixed either by the company or the modding community. And that's when I get a higher end graphics card and really just dive into PC.
But you know what's actually also bad? This game apparently is like poorly optimized on the systems as well. It's just a lot worse it's a lot worse on PC, but it's also like optimized bad on console. And what's so strange about it is like the reputation matters a lot more than that due date. Like I feel like they should spend that extra money on their development team and push that game back versus like, because the harshness of the reception is going to be just crazy because there's already those people who like really don't want to spend $60-$70 at launch for stuff anyway. And it's to the point where even if a game is good, some people are always looking for a reason to say, no, I don't want to spend the 70. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is going to be one of the reasons.
Jedi Survivor is kind of what saved EA's, like the perception of EA. Because everyone's constantly complaining about EA. And then they like released Star Wars Battlefront 2 in a horrible state where now it's like a good game, but no one plays it. And then they released Jedi Survivor and everyone's like, well, finally they made a single player game that's really good.
Yeah.
So this was originally going to be a day one buy for me. But of course I got to listen to hear how things work. And when I hear it ain't optimized, it's like, well, I'll wait. Because if I'm going to have to sit and wait for patches anyways, then all right, you just got moved to Black Friday. Like that's a good
point that you made too. Because when people say I'll wait, they don't really mean I'll wait for they do mean I'll wait for the patches, but they also want a sale with it. It's not like, oh, now I hear that it's working, so I'm ready to go and get it at full price. It's like, no, it's working now, but now I also want the discount. Yep. So, you know, it's going to really, you know, hurt their bottom line too, when they could have just at least, you know, stuck it out an extra month or two, however long they needed to do, and it just put it out there.
Yeah.
So I'm disappointed in it. Yeah, I'm still gonna get a nice good PC. I'm just not in a hurry. I'm really not. I'm just taking my time with it because I gotta like, you know, make sure I know exactly what parts I want, because I want to be at the point where I don't need to upgrade for a while. Like people who have like a 3090 and they upgraded to a 4090, you can argue they probably didn't need to upgrade. They just did it because they wanted to and they love tech, you know, and they wanted whatever extra performance they got out of it. But if I was one of the people who got the 3090, I wouldn't upgrade to the 4090 right away. You know what I'm saying? So like if I got the 4090, I wouldn't want to upgrade to like let's say 5090 when it comes out, unless it's just like some huge leap in performance. Like it has to be a really big gap. You're not going to entice me with like 10 or 15 frames when I got to pay an additional like $2,500 just for the card. I got to sit there and jimmy and do all of that. So yeah, but hopefully they get better. It's a terrible trend that we keep seeing, and I'm kind of sick of seeing it. But it is what it is. But I will say, we can move on to the next one. This one's actually a better performing game. I just wanted to give it its props real quick, and that's Dead Island 2. Apparently, at least for performance wise, it was doing pretty well, and a lot of people were like, you know, gravitating towards it, and I didn't hear any bad things about it. I still think like the perception of how they showed the first trailer was kind of goofy, but like
knowing
it seemed
a little
like,
bit more of the story, I'm a little more receptive of that first trailer now. Like I don't know if you know, but it takes place like the start of a zombie apocalypse. Basically, the zombie apocalypse like whole thing started like the night before. That's why everything's still sunshiny and people are just kind of chilling at home.
Yeah, there's more context.
And there hasn't been like it's not like 5 months into the zombie apocalypse. It's like literally zombies popped up at 8 a.m. this morning. And like it's just like so. I'm a little more appreciative of the way people are just acting now, but that's a game I also definitely plan on getting.
But also like the way they were showing the plane crash scene, that's where a lot of people start. It has a very different tone there, and there was no issues. Like all the issues we're seeing with Jedi Survivor, we didn't have issues with that. So they got their stuff together as far as performance. Yeah. So I just wanted to make sure I give them their props on performance, because if they also came out with a bad and the industry is just looking like that, man, I don't know what to say. But at least here, Dead Island 2, their performance was where it needed to be. So that's the main thing I wanted to say. Anything else you want to say as far as Dead Island 2? We don't have to spend too much time on it.
Nope, I just can't wait to like try out the different types of weapons.
Yeah, for anybody out there who was on the fence of like which game to get, I would say probably get the Dead Island 2 now and wait on Star Wars Jedi Survivor, even though you would think that would be the game that everybody would go for first. But you know, performance matters, unfortunately. But another game, we can move on even past that. You want to tell me what's going on with the update with Gotham Knights real quick?
Yeah, Gotham Knights released a free update that if you beat all the side bosses, you can access it now. It's another like raid mission and everything. They're really going in on that 4-player part.
Okay.
But it's called the Kelvin Incident. And yeah, it's a whole new raid mission with new gear tier, some raid drops, some stronger enemies, new transmogs. They also added in some more accessibility controls where you can do a controller remap, especially for the keyboard as well. And they have text-to-speech features and all this other stuff, along with like, you know, just some regular, like your normal like improvement and fixes and everything. So it's still 30 frames. It's not 60 frames per second now.
Okay.
But
so that's the main thing that I was wondering, because I didn't want to touch it until they did that. Like I know they initially was just like, yeah, they were saying that they wasn't, but I was assuming that one day they was gonna like just pop up and just do it just to try to see if they can get some resurgence in sales at some point.
Yeah.
And yeah, it hasn't happened yet, but at least just as a game and a game for the DC universe and everything, is it more worth it now? Because you know reception of it was really bad. Everybody kind of trashed it, and it died really quickly.
Even though the reception was bad,
yeah,
as a DC fan, I personally enjoyed it a lot.
Okay.
I still haven't done the rain mission stuff because I would want to go in there with friends, and nobody got this game. But
yeah.
No, I enjoyed it a lot, and I thought like the storyline was good. For a DC game, I can understand some of the hesitations with like the RPG elements. That was kind of for me, but the rest of it to me was great. And I think for a cheaper price, a full game, some like nice stuff going on after the raid missions, and then clearly adding more free stuff. It doesn't seem like they're done. I think now would be a good time to jump in.
Okay. Well, I appreciate them, still doing stuff for the games instead of just dropping it all together. Because some other studios here and there, they'll do that, but at least they're adding more stuff to it for the people who did, support the franchise. So I'm definitely gonna play it. I was one of the people who was waiting for unannounced like 60 FPS. I was thinking that one day they were just gonna say, oh, we got it, it's 60 FPS now, we just decided to do it, quote unquote, just to get like more people to buy it. I thought it would be more towards so initially I thought what was going to happen was that they were going to do it really, really close to the release of Suicide Squad as like a promo, kind of like get the rub off of them. But then we saw what happened with Suicide Squad, where they kind of just pushed it back almost indefinitely. And maybe with Gotham Knights they might be holding off on that. I don't think something like a 60 FPS patch should take that much longer compared to like optimization for like all the bug fixes and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not a developer, I don't know, but I think that my prediction is when we actually see whatever new version of Suicide Squads is, that you're gonna get word of like this patch possibly all the way to like up to a month before that releases, just to get some rub off of it. And that's when I'll probably play it. Other than that though, for anybody out there, myself included, if you haven't already ran through Marvel's Avengers, you might want to do it, because I guess that's set to delist in September, and I don't know how it's gonna. I don't know what's gonna happen with it, but I'm pretty sure if you own it physically, I own it physically, but I don't know. I think, is everything supposed to be free now underneath it?
So it's already free.
Yeah.
Apparently everything's free. The store thing, you can download all of it. And it's just if you have a physical copy of the game, you can still play it offline.
Yeah.
And do all of that stuff. But I don't think you'll have any of the online features.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, if you really want to take full advantage of the game the way it was before it, like, they shut servers down or something, then you want to like get into it before September. So that's going to be a game I'm probably going to play over the summer. But try to stick it in there in the middle of like, I guess Tears of the Kingdom is the big one for me because I already pre-ordered that, and then like a whole bunch of other stuff. So I'm gonna try to squeeze it in there somewhere. I don't really care too much for like the multiplayer stuff too much. I just wanted to like at least test out how the characters play, Black Panther especially, and then just look at like Spider-Man for the tongue-in-cheek stuff. So but yeah
I do want to run through those because like I beat the base game. I do want to just kind of run through the DLC.
Yeah, because it kind of it's shoehorned in there for me because I'm still trying to do all the PS3 stuff as well. Like I had priority on that because in my head I was like I wanted to finish all of that before Zelda Tears of the Kingdom come out, and I'm failing miserably right now because I've been busy. But yeah, shout out to gaming. There's a lot of games out there, but yeah, shout out to Gotham Knights. overall. That's what we were talking about. But anyways, another game I actually want to talk about in a maybe not too lengthy, but Armored Core 6, we actually got to just see it. They kind of just threw it out there. It was like, here it is, and then we got a release date in August 25th of this year. I didn't even think it would be this year. But
I knew it would be.
You knew it would be this year?
Yeah.
I didn't know. I thought maybe it might have got like probably announced for this year, but then pushed into 2024 maybe in the beginning, because that's how like a lot of games have been going. But it sounds like they're confident. It sounds like they're confident in what they showed. Looked pretty cool. It does remind me of like the Gundam Wing games in a way, and then also War Tech Fighters. So a game I talked about when my channel was like brand new. But
so
yeah,
I'm excited. Armored Core was the second video game I've ever played.
Okay.
Like it just brought back all
the very first one, or like
second. The very first one was
okay.
the second video game I've ever played. The first video game I ever played was Tekken.
Okay.
So it was just it was like way back, and I remember always getting like whooped by the like it was one of the mechs with like 6 legs that had a little spider thing going on.
The spider.
Yeah, just get whooped all the time. But like I really loved it. It looks great to me. Like it seems like a big open environment. And you just build your mech and run through it. I'm excited to do so. Apparently, From Software said it's not going to be on some Dark Souls difficulty, but like I don't think they can help themselves. I think there's going to be parts that are just going to be difficult. Yeah.
Well, I would say for the people out there, if you can't wait and you want to at least play something similar that might be slightly more easier, definitely check out War Tech Fighters, because it reminded me of that the most. But War Tech Fighters take place mainly in space, where on Armored Core it looked like they had a planet or whatever that they were on and everything. I do like how the robots or the mechs move a lot more smooth here compared to like PlayStation 1, because they was very stiff in PS1 time.
Were they?
They're very stiff, and I like I've actually tried a few of them recently, but by recently I mean like during the 2020 lockdowns and stuff. And it was very stiff, a little jarring a couple times. And so when I heard the rumors of like Armored Core, I think right before they released Elden Ring, I was just like, it sounds good on paper, but is it gonna be better? And we finally got to see it, and it is looking better. So I got faith in From Software. I mean, they just had the game of the year last year. They actually just did it. So maybe they might make a game of the year for you think that might happen? That'll be crazy. Because I was never expecting I wasn't even expecting like that to be in the category, but you think it could possibly be in the category at least? You think that might happen?
I don't know. I don't know how much like this appeals to like everybody.
Yeah.
Right? Where like Dark Souls, I feel like it's a very big thing, like a big genre versus tech fighters. However, it could.
I think people are going to bandwagon on it because of Elden Ring, off of the success of Elden Ring, because Elden Ring turned a lot of like noobs into Souls players.
Yeah,
it really did.
So the name alone from the company might help it.
Yeah, I don't know. I would like to. I hope it moves more fluid than Titanfall. I like Titanfall, but I like the shooting aspect more than the actual mech part. So hopefully it is. It did look like it was third person.
No.
So like where Titanfall it was not.
You still get to build your mechs and everything like that. So
yeah, that'll be cool. But if you want one that looks more Megazord-ish, definitely check out War Tech Fighters real quick, because I believe that one is like real cheap.
Do you think they'll do that? Do you think they'll have like an Armored Core? Do you think they'll do like a Gundam and a Megazord and Voltron, like as like some DLC sort of like
I don't know if
Special
it'll be
robot.
official. I do expect some mods to come, and you might be
Oh,
able to do like you might be able to make it a little bit more colorful. Cause what really
yeah,
makes it look like that is like where you got an arm that's red, an arm that's like blue, and then you got some yellow here, some black or green here. So like if
yeah.
I think you might be able to be more colorful. It would suck if they locked that behind cosmetics, but I don't think they really do that from software like that anyway.
No.
So, but yeah, you might be able to do that. You might be able to do that. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This really came out of nowhere for me. I really didn't expect them to just show it. I really was expecting like another teaser at some point, but yeah, they were showing it. I'm like, all right. So yeah. Big kudos. And I guess we can move on. Another game that actually, I think this got more negative than positive, but this is probably a game that technically is your topic, but I saw it as well. The Funko game where I don't know what was happening, but I thought it was funny. It was funny, but it looked unnecessary. It kind of looked like it was going to be a movie, but I didn't know what was going on. You want to tell us about it? How did you feel about it, man?
So apparently, think of like the Lego games where like they recreate some of the iconic scenes from a series with like the Lego pieces and everything.
Yeah.
I think the Funko game is doing that, but like the series, rather than just being like a Harry Potter or a Star Wars Lego game. This is like, let's use everybody. So you're gonna see like, I think they showed like Umbrella Academy and like Die Hard. It looked like, or just like it was just a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, I was wondering because I was like, did they get everybody to sign off on the franchise?
Well,
because they had the Jurassic Park at one point, and it was just.
So Funko has these franchises because they make them. Like I own 111 Funko Pop. I'm a collector of Funko Pop.
Yeah,
Oh, 112.
I've seen some of these myself.
I just got a new one. Yeah, so you know that I own a bunch of them.
Yeah.
And
I like
so
the
they have
Megazord
licenses
one because it was bigger.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
That joke was cool. But they have licenses to make all of these, so they could put all of them into a game. And just go around and they're just gonna be I think it's like, I don't know what the main objective is, but I think parts of it is like you're gonna be interjected into like random official movie scenes and everything is what it looks like. So they're just gonna be recreating stuff. It looks silly. Like it doesn't look like, it looks like a game you play like for an hour once and then put down, but I still want to play it.
Yeah, I was kind of like more like in the middle. I just felt like, why does this exist? It reminded me of the Angry Birds like movie. I was just like, this. I thought it was a movie in a way because of how it was being presented. Because it didn't necessarily look like gameplay; it just looked like it was more of a CGI kind of thing. Like I still don't actually know like how it would play. But the reception of it was like right in the middle because I've seen people who was like really like going at it like this is big corporate greed and all of that and stuff. I was like, man.
So here's the thing. I had to look it up and it did say you will battle enemies, explore vast environments, and solve intriguing puzzles. It's just Lego, but Funko instead. And it has up to 4-player online multiplayer. But it is, but then again, also with the hate, there's a lot of people who hate Funko Pops. Like in general, they just think they look stupid or things like that. And I thought they did at first too, but then like I ended up getting like the Power Rangers, and then like I started getting like Superman, and then a couple of the CW superhero shows, and then it just kept growing from there. And
I've seen a couple of Twitch streamers where they basically just had like a wall where it was just from the floor to the ceiling, and it's like if it timbers over, like a whole bunch of it would just fall. But like I've seen a lot of people here and there that they had like a whole lot of them, and it's so many different characters and stuff. And so like if you could think about a character, it's probably there. Like it's probably there, especially if they have like an ounce of popularity. But as a game, I don't know. I will be honest. So for everybody who watched my video where it was like 20 games or whatever, and they were like more indie games. First of all, thank you for watching it. As I was like looking at games that I would like, and wish list and purchase and everything, I did come across this. And if it wasn't for my co-host wanting to talk about it, I probably wouldn't have talked about it. When I looked at it, I was looking at it and I saw like the dislikes and stuff for it, but I didn't necessarily like wanted to hate on it. I was just like, I don't know why this would exist. And then I was just kind of done with it. And
for sure, I don't know why it exists either.
I was just
have
done
no
with
idea
it.
why it exists.
And so like, but it was, so I am doing another video just like the 20 game video for more games. This was one of them that would have made it cut if I liked it more. I didn't like it. So I just kind of, but I don't hate on it either. It just didn't seem like, I didn't know what it was. I was just like, it looked like a movie. It looked like it was a trailer for a movie to me. Like they were just going to do this big party movie for kids or something. But
yeah.
Everybody else was like this corporate greed. Cause I think what people probably think is that they're going to like microtransaction like a bunch of like actual Funko Pops. That's what I think. Like they're not going to have everybody in there. It's just like as franchise show up, almost like Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse. It's just like, here's another one, here's another one, here's another one.
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised.
And it's like $5 each or $2-3 each, however. So that's probably...
I will tell you that as much as I said I wanted to play this, I will not play it if it costs $70 on release.
70 on release. It might be 60. They might actually go straight up for 60 though. I think they might do.
Cost 20.
Now, if we find out that they say it's free to play, beware. Beware. You're gonna be seeing some Diablo Immortal numbers for all of them, and that might be where everybody might, like then I would understand where everybody's coming from as far as corporate greed. But
oh yeah,
you can keep us updated. Keep us updated on it. Yeah, so I also want to give props to PlayStation real quick because we're about to get into the drama. But first off, I would just say, I heard that PlayStation officially moved 38 million PS5 units.
Hey.
I don't know how many units it is for the VR2 though, but I heard that's like not doing
5.
as good.
Yeah, 5 units.
So I was expecting you to say 5 million. I was like, oh, 5 million? Oh, that's not that bad. But no, it's probably maybe about 15, 20, 35. 20. Yeah. It's probably a few thousand, about 1,000 or 2. But at least for the main thing, that was 35 million so far. The funny thing about this though, as a small side story, apparently the people who was originally scalping these by like the hundreds or whatever, they're like stuck with a bunch of systems and they're almost forced to sell them for under the market value. Like basically
that's what they get.
That's what they get.
That is what they get.
So that's what we're finding out about, like the scalpers and stuff, like because ain't nobody buying it from them. So yeah, it is what it is on that, I guess. So good luck with that, whoever. And then also PlayStation, also they were able to acquire Firewalk Studios, which is known or is they're put on the team to make AAA multiplayer games. So
okay, yeah,
that's what we're going to see them do. And nobody blocked that. They were able to do it. So shout out to them for adding a new studio. Hopefully they get a competitor, even though it kind of sounds like they might not need to get a competitor for Call of Duty. But yeah, they still needed one. Overall, they need probably a second one. So that there are actual multiplayer games that's AAA. Now, the thing about it is, when you see that, you think competitor to Call of Duty, but it's possible that some of these might go to those service type games too. And it's like that's something I don't really want to see. Hopefully we don't see too many. But I remember they wanted to do 10, and they might be like, okay, we could do 20. I was like, oh God. But who knows? But shout out to them for their success. Anything you want to say about that? As far as Firewalk, do you know anything about any of their past work?
I looked them up and I didn't recognize anything.
I didn't recognize them either, but yeah.
But who knows? Maybe they can do. What I like is if you have a studio that is focused on multiplayer, you could stop pulling resources from other studios that should be doing single player stuff.
Yes.
And we can have both. That's what I want.
That's going to be the main thing. I think we are on the same track with that, because sometimes they just really need to keep it separate. And I guess that leads me to a video that I just got done doing, which was just my thoughts on the Xbox deal being blocked. I just want to get your perspective on it. We don't have to spend too much time on it, but we could talk about the reasoning, because I didn't actually talk about the reasoning in my video. I just talked about what I thought it would mean. But how do you feel about that? You happy? You celebrating is what I'm trying to say. You celebrating being a 100% PlayStation guy. Are you liking all the comments that I'm getting on my videos? You giving them all hearts?
Yeah, man, throwing a little party.
Giving them all hearts. Encouraging them.
It's silly to me. I'm not understanding I guess why this is such a big deal. Maybe because if on this very small chance PlayStation loses Call of Duty, I personally don't care. So maybe that's low stakes for me. However, it's I am losing out on Elder Scrolls 6. But at the same time, it's okay.
Well, Elder Scrolls is with Bethesda though, so
it's already lost it.
Yeah, you kind of already lost it if you didn't want
but
it.
It's and I lost Outer Worlds 2, which is also Bethesda, I believe.
Oh yeah, you did like that one.
I already lost mine, so I don't really care if people lose Call of Duty. But I don't think they will. I think it's a weird thing, but basically when I looked into it, the UK doesn't really understand how video games work. So their issue is when they hear that they're trying to buy something else, right?
We just lost our UK audience. I just want you to know that. But go ahead.
That's fine. Well, no, it's not. Okay, it's not the UK people. It's the UK
officials. You want to say?
Officials.
Don't say the gamers.
Not the gamers. No. It's the UK officials who block deals, who look at trying to stop monopolies, and all they see is that within consoles there's a healthy competition, right?
Yeah.
But when we talk about cloud gaming, they're 60 to 70% of cloud gaming services is pretty much owned by Microsoft, right? Because you got what is it? Game Pass for Xbox, Game Pass for PC, xCloud, Azure, Windows. They feel like they own majority of cloud gaming. So in their head, it's well, if they and it's projected to in a couple years, cloud gaming will be worth billions, $13 billion.
Yep, all y'all gonna enjoy it except me. But go ahead.
Yep. And so they're you already own 70% of something that's gonna be $13 billion. Why are you getting Activision? And in their head, it's buying Activision will just increase how much money you make in the cloud gaming service. That's all they see. And it's how does this help cloud gaming? And they're but it will. That's where they're at right now. It's you can't grow more powerful because you own too much already. So we're gonna block it. They needed proof that buying Activision has nothing to do with cloud gaming. Because all they know is just cloud gaming is big. You're trying to buy this gaming thing that'll probably help with cloud gaming. That's too much power in cloud gaming. So we have to block it. That's all the UK knows. For the
it sounded to me, it almost sounded like they were just looking for a reason.
Yeah,
and they found their reason. But it was to me, it was a goofy reason because the biggest one, yes, they just closed down Google Stadia, but they're at least performance wise, they were actually better than the beta version of xCloud.
And if they would have stayed, maybe this deal would have went through.
Yeah, they
like
wouldn't be able to.
Like,
oh,
there is competition. Google.
But then at the same time, Luna is still here though. Amazon Luna. Amazon is a huge conglomerate. It's a huge conglomerate. Amazon ain't going nowhere, even if Luna
I wonder if
fails.
they feel like Amazon owes too much.
Yeah, like it was just strange because the biggest thing that there's an angle that I took in the video where I was asking questions about just Activision in general, and then funny enough, how does this affect Nintendo? Because like, even though nobody is acting like they care, if you think about it, Nintendo didn't have Call of Duty on the system, right? And they announced that they were going to give them like 10 years worth of Call of Duty. That was through an Xbox deal. So if that's blocked, then they just simply don't get Call of Duty at all, right? At least that's how I look at it. I don't know if they're still going to do it with Activision directly, but it sounded like they weren't going to get it. And it's kind of tongue in cheek a little bit because I don't think anybody cares. I literally don't think not one person is going to make that type of like stress that issue, right? I was the only one. But the thing about it was Call of Duty is such a massive game as far as space on your system that literally it would have had to been a cloud version of the game on Nintendo, which would have meant that it would have been under Nintendo's servers with cloud. No different than how Nintendo had cloud games, like where games are like, here are the cloud versions. So it's like you would have had to need like their cloud service, which would have you would have needed Nintendo's cloud just to power Call of Duty, right? And it's like by default, wouldn't that contradict in a way? Like Microsoft is like the king of cloud. Like, I don't know. It was just a weird thing to see. I didn't look at it too deeply. I just thought that they kind of just made it up. But when I was thinking about it, I'm like, well, Nintendo, like the deal that they put there with Nintendo, like literally would contradict this just based on the size alone. Because Call of Duty games be like 200 plus gigs. And like you can't even fit that on Nintendo's cartridges. Like you just can't. Like the only way you would have been able to do a Call of Duty game on Nintendo is if the game was cloud. And so that would have required Nintendo to have cloud, which arguably could have been some form of competition to xCloud somehow, some way. So it's like, was it like by default, that would mean that at least like Nintendo's cloud service would have been needed for at least 10 years if they're going to support Call of Duty for 10 years. I don't think anybody talked about that.
Nope.
Maybe somebody could say, I don't know what I'm talking about, but fine.
But the UK regulators definitely wouldn't have talked about it because they don't understand it. They are the loosey-gooseyest of like connections to stuff is like very amateur of like, well, this sounds like this, so no. Because even when they talked about the Call of Duty thing, part of them, they were like, well, no, they already agreed to a 10-year deal. You're good. Like, you get your Call of Duty. They already said the 10 years. You're good. Like, that's not an issue. But then they're just like, oh, the cloud. We're on the cloud. Like, and to be honest, I honestly feel like it's people who don't fully grasp what cloud means.
Well,
saying, bro, the cloud.
Let's talk about how goofy this sounds, though. Literally, no more than 2 weeks ago, we were just talking about PlayStation having a handheld that was supposed to be cloud. How was Xbox going to have a monopoly on cloud? Like, it's so goofy to me that was the way that they went. Because I'm like, yo, cloud was still going to be everywhere. It was still going to be everywhere. Like,
I don't get it.
I didn't understand that. I'm like, yo, we literally just got done talking about where everybody made all of these like these screenshots, or not screenshots, all of these photoshops of like, they took the controller and put a screen in the middle of it. They were like all high resolution. and stuff. I'm like, y'all, none of y'all know what this would look like. Like, stop it. Like, nobody knows what it looked like. It reminded me of like when we didn't have an image for the PS5 yet. Back when the Series X like first came out, or when it first was revealed, and everybody was making fun of it to be like a refrigerator. But PlayStation was not revealing what the PS5 was going to look like yet. So everybody had this super high resolution picture of the dev kit. And it was just going with that dev kit and kept putting it next to the Series X. And they was all making these videos and stuff. And just, it was always in the screenshots and stuff, like always there. And everybody was acting like they had knowledge and knew what they was talking about. And like, if you go back and look at any of those videos, it will prove so many people wrong. Like, they would just have no leverage whatsoever in their news and their journalism. But they were just looking for content. And it was like, that was the same thing with that handheld, how everybody was handling it. I'm like, is it a Vita? Is it not a Vita? Is it an actual just cloud gaming device? And then I was the one who sat here and told you, like, directly for the episode 2 weeks ago, that the device that does what they're saying that device was going to do already exists, because it was the Logitech device when we were saying who wants this device. And Logitech partnered with Xbox to put like their name on it. I think, I don't even know if they had their name directly on it. I just know they did it in the marketing. But that device is a Logitech device, and it was specifically for cloud, and it exists. How is Xbox the monopoly in cloud? It's so stupid to me. I was just like, what? Like, so we just ignoring that device. We're ignoring the PlayStation make-believe device that we was talking about 2 weeks ago, and we're ignoring Amazon. You know what I'm saying? Google Stadia is the only one you could say is gone. Like, it was just goofy. It was goofy.
Oh, absolutely.
It was just goofy. I will say I'm more disappointed though, just with like, when you really think about it, like a lot of those other franchises, the possibility of them coming back, or the possibility of some of the studios that's always being forced to work on Call of Duty, like the possibility of them being able to work on something else, they just can't. It's like, it's one of those things where if we look at Killzone, you know, they were backed by PlayStation, right? So they had the funding and stuff to shift from Killzone to Horizon, despite what people might think about how Horizon is, because sometimes there's mixed reviews on that. But they were able to do something drastically different, where under Activision, there might be some studios there that could move from a first-person shooter and then make another game that's a third-person action adventure, whatever, because we always said Xbox was lacking in that category. But now they can't. They got to keep that oil machine going because they're on their own. You know, that's the big thing. Yep. That was the big thing for me. I'm going to be honest. I'm not really too thrilled about that Crash Bandicoot battle arena thing that they got.
Me neither.
And I'm like, well, I would want, like, let's say they're going to do a Spyro the Dragon. I would want Spyro's next game to be a solid full release. I would not want to see Spyro be what they just did with Crash. Now, yes, we did get another Crash game beforehand, but I'm just saying, like, it's like every now and then you'll see another franchise get a game. You know what I mean? It's not like as frequent or whatever. And the big thing though, for anybody who was like really into the PR stuff and was there with the protests and all of that, Activision gets to keep their Vince McMahon as well. If we're following this story right, if I'm correct on this, because I spoke on it already, I was like, the dude named Bobby Kotick was the guy that everybody was hating and they wanted him to leave. And I honestly think it's going to be the same thing with what we were talking about before with Vince McMahon, where like even you were just like, I don't even want to watch wrestling right now. Like, or I don't watch.
So I said I wouldn't watch. I have not been watching like at all. It's just
so I'm just like, if anything, like here's a guy who nobody's forcing him out of his chair, basically.
Nope.
And so, just for a lot of stuff that was going on there, because some of those stories was ridiculous. The death threats over voicemail, and then all of the employees with the picture of like Bill Cosby and stuff like that. All the goofy, that stuff would sound so goofy, but it was terrible too. Like some of the details, it's like, so technically none of that changes. Like, yeah, they had a lawsuit and they just paid the lawsuit, but it's like, do we know that every employee was reprimanded? Do we know that Bobby Kotick is going to actually be gone? Because it don't sound like it. Sound like he is there. He was releasing statements himself about the blockage and stuff. So I'm like, well, he's not going nowhere then. Like, yeah, he don't get his like super buyout, but the trade-off is he stays. And that's what it sounds like to me. So I'm like it don't sound like it sounds like people who celebrate is because of like console war reasons, but like when you look at like all the other stuff, it's like, some of this don't look too hot. It don't look too hot, but
I agree with you.
I
do have
go
a
ahead.
lighter note surprise Activision news.
What's happening?
Did you hear about the mother who's in the Candy Crush tournament?
No, I didn't.
So there was this one lady who she plays Candy Crush, right? Like a mom.
Okay.
She's a generic mom who's like really into Candy Crush. I don't know if you've played Candy Crush recently.
I have not.
Pop-ups galore. So things will just, and it's not like pop-up ads. It'll be like, here's this cool event, and here's this other special event, and now you got to collect these, and it overloads. It's like, I just want to play the level, right? But like all of it just starts popping up. So she's just hitting okay on stuff, and one of the ones that she okayed entered her in this like Candy Crush tournament. And she's just been casually playing and killing it. And because she's really good at Candy Crush, because she's very competitive. Well, the tournament she ended up entering has a prize of $250,000.
Oh, man. She didn't even know?
She may end up winning because she just got like the news is like, hey, you're on to the next level. And she's like, I'm sorry, what? And they're like, yeah, the winners, like the top, like, I think like 9 people. All it's funny enough in the UK is where the final part of the tournament is, or it's the top 10. We'll go to the UK in May 25th on some like when they be having the League of Legends like tournament sort of thing. It's like that, but for Candy Crush, and she can just sit there and play, and the winner gets $250,000. And she accidentally entered. Some 48-year-old lady from Ohio just accidentally entered. And now she's in the top 10.
Well, like she was like, I hope she win it. I hope she could probably be like professional at it. She could be professional at it from her phone. That would be awesome to be like a professional esports person where you're just playing on your phone and your couch in your house. Winning thousands of dollars. Right? I need that deal.
So she's in the semifinals. Seeded, there you go. Seeded number 1 in her region, which would be so she's number 1 seed, which is like she's the draft pick. Bro, yeah, that would be the dream job. And it's like, shout out to her. Like shout out
to her. Well, I guess we can move on from the Xbox news. I do want to mention just a couple shout outs for them. The game Redfall will be releasing on May 2nd. Okay. And then also the game they didn't really put any marketing behind whatsoever. So this is another game that's going to be featured in another one of my videos where I show off a lot of indie games, but they have a game that's on the Xbox platform that is going to be day 1 in Game Pass on May 4th, 2 days after Redfall. I always question that because they did that before with the Gunk, and the Gunk kind of just didn't get that much shine. But yeah, so 2 days after Redfall goes on the Game Pass, a game called Ravenlock is going to go on the Game Pass. If you look at it, it's going to look like a girl who kind of looks like Dora the Explorer, is gonna have like the armor set of like Link from Breath of the Wild, and she's just gonna
Okay.
be in an adventure similar to Breath of the Wild. They're gonna have like a lot of assets that you will recognize that you've seen in Breath of the Wild. And like one of the main ones that I saw that was like screamed Breath of the Wild was like the bombs, where like you switch between the bombs. So that's in there. Day one on Game Pass, and it doesn't look like it's going anywhere else. As far as like just Xbox and PC for right now. I don't know if it's timed exclusive, but yeah, it didn't get no praise whatsoever. So I would show it off a little bit because I thought it looked cool. It will normally retail though for $24.99 if you don't have Game Pass, or if you just want to play on PC. And then also their other exclusive title that went into Game Pass, I think last month or the month before, Vampire Survivors. Very, very addictive, extremely like basic game that's just very addictive. That apparently is going to be getting a animated TV show.
Oh, okay.
So that's going to happen at some point. And then the game, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre game is going to be day one in Game Pass as well. So a little bit of positive news for them. A lot of positive news there. So Call of Duty is just one franchise. There's more going on. So I appreciate the variety. That's a nice little amount of variety. But we are at the halfway point technically. And so I would like to at least just acknowledge our unofficial sponsor. How many times am I going to say that before it becomes official? It'd be cool one day when it do become official. But at least right now, the unofficial sponsor is going to be I'm going to say Game Pass. Epic Games, where I just pretty much put the highlight out there for the people to get a free title where all you really need to do is just have an account. And you don't actually need to have your credit card. And the games that they have, the funny thing about it is this is the one time I did use my credit card or use a card to buy a couple of these games. And now they're showing up here for free, which is funny. But I'll tell you which ones they are. But before that, the ones that's available now for you to claim is Breath Edge and Poker Club. These weren't the games that I bought, but Breath Edge and Poker Club is available from now until May 4th. And then from May 4th to May 11th. So one of these I didn't buy. So Against All Odds is the other one. But apparently it's three of them, right? The other two I did buy. Horizon Chase Turbo. It's like an arcade racer. So I did get that. And then KO the Kangaroo, which is a kangaroo platformer. I'm big on the indie games. And before I started highlighting them, that was one of them that I liked. I liked how it looked. So not only did I buy that, I also bought like the full DLC for that. And Horizon Chase Turbo didn't have DLC. But it's a really cool like arcade racer. You'll make you think that you're playing like an arcade game. And so those are going to be available for you to claim under Epic with an Epic profile from May 4th to May 11th. What's really cool is, if anybody wants to know, I am trying to get a race wheel now. I'm trying to think I'm trying to figure out which is going to be the best one. That's multiplayer, like fully multiplayer. So far I've seen some where it's like it only work on this system or that system. It's like, no, I need that to be like multiplayer, right?
Yeah.
So I want to play that with Horizon Chase Turbo. And then also PlayStation Plus for May just like announced like some racing games there too, didn't they? And I know like a couple games that they had before that I claimed was like Need for Speed, and then they still got Gran Turismo over there. I don't have that one yet. But then on Xbox side, there's Forza Horizon 5, obviously, and then Forza Motorsport that's going to be coming out, and then Like other games, I got a game on Switch called Cruising Blast, if I'm not mistaken, which I think is a exclusive to their platform. And I just want to play some of these with a racing wheel, but I don't want to break the bank. Like I have one in my Amazon like wish list that's like 100, but I got to make sure it work everywhere. But yeah, those are the free games. I did want to mention, if you look up Breath Edge, the one that's available now, the profile picture that they showed to show off the game shows an astronaut with a chicken on his shoulder. So I don't know what's going on with that, but that looked hilarious.
I mean, it has to be something good.
The chicken didn't have, if anybody's wondering, he didn't have a helmet, so I don't know what's going on. Maybe the chicken can breathe in space. But yeah, that's available for you to check out now. You can, if you are somebody who's probably waiting for Starfield, at least you could play, the astronaut with a chicken on his shoulder. Other than that, I don't know. I do want to mention, so I have a couple sales also that I want to mention. Not too many, but there's one that's a really big one in a way. I don't know how big, but if you are somebody out there that only has a wired headset and you wanted a wireless headset, but you didn't want to break the bank, apparently, as of right now, Amazon has a Logitech one, or Logitech has one under Amazon that's $30. And it has a lot of great reviews. So this is called the Logitech G435. If you search that on Amazon, you're going to find it. It's going to be $30. I will say it does look kind of ugly. I'm not going to lie. The one that looks good is the black one. For some reason, the black one is at $50. But they got one that's like, I think like purple and red. I think that's what I saw. That one was 30, and then they have like a white and blue one that's 30, but the white and blue one also still kind of looks ugly to me. But if you don't care about the aesthetics and you just want a wireless headset, like I almost would have bought the black one as a backup if it was also 30, but it was at 50, so I didn't do it. But yeah, other than that, I have the Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition. You can get that at Best Buy on Xbox for $11.49, the physical version. And then old school fans out there, if you never got around to playing this, Batman Arkham's Origins is on Steam for $4.25. That's actually one of them that I did not get. Yeah, so I might actually get that after we're done for the day. The Walmart edition of the Xbox Series X mini fridge is back to being $35.98 again. So you can go get that. I have that. When I got it, it was like 50. It's worth it every now and then. I would not say use it for continuous use, but I actually might be the worst person to review it because I only use it like during the holidays. Like I don't turn that on all the time. But apparently also Xbox Elite wireless controller Series 2 Core, the blue and the red one are like $131 right now plus change and tax, I guess, under Amazon. Remember when I told you like why they don't got the green one? It's like, how do you got a red and a blue one? I'm still waiting for them to have a green one. But if you don't care, they're at $130. I think they normally for the full package is like $180 or something. And then the last one, the Castlevania Advanced Collection, is $11.99 on Steam. And so, yeah, those are my sales. I did also want to mention one other thing. It's not really like a highlight for sales, but it depends on how you look at it. But you remember Bayonetta? The Bayonetta Origins Cereza game, Cereza and the Lost Demon? Apparently that one is like $48.59 on Amazon. It's not really a sale, but I just wanted to bitch. It was interesting that their games are like cheaper when it comes to Bayonetta. I don't know if you noticed that, but like before, like everything else didn't really drop that fast, but Bayonetta 3 and then now this one was hovering around that like $45 to $48 mark, like almost immediately. And so it looks like that one is too. But yeah, that's it for the sales. I guess because another game was on the screen, a retro game, I guess we could talk about Nintendo real quick. Did you see that full indie show?
I sped through it, yeah.
You sped through it? You see some stuff you like?
I saw two things that I liked in there.
Okay.
So it's reading through it. The first one is the obvious one. Okay. Little kitty, big city. So you play as like a cat in a giant world, and you just kind of platforming and going your way around. And you get to put like little items on the cat and dress them up how you want.
Yeah.
That one looked great. And then, to be honest, it was the last thing they showed too. Bomb Rush Cyberpunk.
Okay.
It was just like a rhythm game, but you're like racing around the city kind of, and like parkouring and everything. That one looked cool.
Yeah, for me it was really just the actual cat game, the one you just mentioned. They had a couple other ones, but that was the one that stood out to me. I had actually saw that game a few days earlier, doing research for the next video that I'm gonna release next week. So that one's gonna be on that one as well. So when it showed up at the indie show, I was like, oh, it's here too. I didn't like how they showed it at the indie show though, to be honest. Like it seemed like they rushed through it, where if you just saw the regular trailer, you get to actually just see the game. And I appreciated how it was shown in this trailer, but like in the indie show, they kind of just, show half or whatever. I was like, show this. But
they sped through it for sure.
Yeah, that was the main thing. Outside of that, I guess for Nintendo, the main game for them is around the corner. Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So that's going to be May 12th is when that comes out. And I just wanted to mention one thing about their a story that we covered on the last week episode, or the aftermath of the story. Or no, I think we didn't cover this particular one, and I wrote it down because I found out a little bit different details after we recorded. But the main guy, Gary Bowser, not Bowser, but a whole nother Bowser. So apparently, Nintendo really, really tried to ruin this dude's life. And they did. It was just crazy, the stuff. So I think last week we was talking about like the stuff surrounding Discord and the stuff surrounding like the GameStop, I guess, and how Nintendo was like going after like the servers and going after the one employee of GameStop, and I guess he lost his job. That's really light compared to this Gary Bowser guy. Like, he just lost his job. But apparently with Gary Bowser, if you remember, he had to go to jail because he couldn't make his payment plan. Right? Yep. And so he basically owed something like somewhere between 10 to 14 million to Nintendo in damages. And apparently, like, when he gets out, like, he's going to have 25 to 30% of his income garnished for him, basically until that's like paid.
So the rest of his life.
So the rest of his life is so ridiculous when you hear about this, because not only that, while he was in prison, he was already like, how you could work a job in prison, but you literally don't really get paid.
No,
like you really don't get paid. Yeah, you get like basically nothing. Well, apparently he was working a job in prison, and they were garnishing from that. Yep. And it was like $125-ish, basically. Yeah, it was like, how ridiculous? Like, how ridiculous was that? Like, what was that gonna do? It wasn't even gonna pay for like a little kid's Switch or something. Like, they just garnish. How do you garnish somebody's like prison money, man? How does that happen? Like, what? You can't even enjoy your money in prison? Like,
Nintendo doesn't care about the money. They just want him to suffer forever. And they want him to be an example. They want him to be an example. Every time somebody else tries to like if do they want to try and screw Nintendo will be like, look at Bowser. To the point now that I know there's video game outlets that will not cover Nintendo games. They're not official, right? They're not like IGN or something.
Yeah.
But it'll be like individual people who won't cover or show any sort of footage of a Nintendo game because of this fear. Because of Nintendo doing this. They're like quick to demonetize or take down anything that shows any footage.
Yeah, ironically, I got like footage of this on the screen. None of this is gonna get clipped. It's just me trying to show off retro stuff, or just add variety.
If you tried to clip it, you going to jail. I ain't going.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but yeah, what I'm doing here is nowhere near on the level of what I guess Gary Bowser did or whatever. But it's kind of silly. Like, my man's is in prison or in jail, and you're garnishing from his prison money as if it was going to do anything. Like, what? Like, like, it's just kind of crazy to me when I think about it, because it's like, of course he's not going to be able to afford like a 10 million, 20 million. Any regular person out here, let's say you have a really nice job, a nice career, and you whatever you're doing, all of a sudden you got to pay $10 million and they're taking 30%, 25 to 30% of whatever your income is. It's not going to cover it. Like, if they took 100% of your income, for the average person, it ain't going to cover no $14 million. Like,
nope.
It's so ridiculous. That was just ridiculous. That's ridiculous. But we can move on. I'm not ever going to clip this because I don't need none of them problems. That's just so absurd, though. That's so freaking absurd. But yeah, we can move on. I do want to say, as a lighter note, there's a couple things that I actually forgot. I wrote this all on paper. I'm like following something on my paper, and I literally skipped over two things. The first one, it was actually more in the sales category, but not necessarily sales. But I did want to mention the Asus ROG Ally. We've been hearing about this from time to time, but apparently they said that they were going to be more competitive with the Steam Deck in the pricing, but I think people are projecting the numbers to being like the lower end model being 600, and then the middle model 700, and the high end model 800. How do you feel about that? Do you think that's fair compared to the Steam Deck, or do you think that might be still too much for somebody?
It's too much for me. Like, I don't want to spend that much on something that I'm not really going to use that much.
Right.
But for somebody who is like a collector or they're going to use it, I feel like it is a fair price.
Okay.
Especially if they're going to get heavy use out of it. Like,
right.
I'm pretty sure it is worth that price. It's just, I feel like I don't know. I always have the perception that a handheld should always be less than a console.
It definitely should. These are the times now where there's definitely, so both handhelds have high-end models that's more expensive than the PS5 and the Series X. You know, so,
and if it can't do more, like, it needs to be like a PS5 or a Series X that I can walk around with. But if it can't do that much power, then I don't know. I don't feel.
Yeah, I'm kind of there with you a little bit. The only argument that they could probably have is like, oh, but it's portable. And it's just like, yeah, but like, I think the systems should be where the digital models are for the Series S and then PS5, all digital, like the $300-$400 range, because it's still like the system is still going to be digital anyway. But now it makes more sense. It's just that might be just too low for the type of thing that they're doing. So I guess that's not going to happen. But at the very least, we know that that's the range. We still don't know the exact amount, but I would say if you're trying to get the highest one, expect to pay close to 800, you know, or expect to save and have that money ready. The highest end Steam Deck right now is 650, if I remember correctly. That's 650. So that's still kind of steep, but that's where the low end model is supposed to be for the Asus. Now we'll gather more data when it you know, becomes more official, but that's what they're saying so far. But
It is nice that they're not busting out the 1,000, but still.
Yeah, because initially that was the main thing they were saying. I was like, I don't know about that, homie. 1,000 just seems a little high. That seems a little high. But yeah, I do want to mention a handheld. You ready for this handheld, man? I want to mention a handheld because we haven't talked about this handheld. It is the Playdate, man. I'm talking about the Playdate. We got to talk about the Playdate. We're going to have some fun with this one for a second. It's not really a surprise. It's just because we've been talking about it for a while, but I wanted to mention this right after coming off of the Xbox and PlayStation news about like Call of Duty and stuff, because the fanboy banter back and forth is all about the list wars and the exclusives, right? It's all about that and all about like, you know, who's got the better set of games. But did you know the Playdate? Are you ready for this, sir? Are you ready for the bombshell I'm about to drop on you? For everybody out there who's talking about exclusives and everybody who's being fanboys about it, are you a real gamer? Because I don't know if you're a real gamer if you don't got this Playdate. Because apparently the Playdate has only been out 1 year. Remember this, it's only been about a year now. But it has over 454 games that's exclusive in its first year. And this device is undercutting everybody. It's $200. It used to be $179. They had to bring it up to $200. The Playdate, 400 plus, over 450 exclusives, man. How you feel about that?
Out of those 450, how many of them are must plays?
Oh, see, my co-host is hating. See, he already hating. He a PlayStation guy. He don't like to hear that another system got more exclusives than his PlayStation.
That's not it. I'm just saying, like, it's cool, and I'm happy that they have that many games. It does make like knowing that it's like a $200 system, and you still like get 400. Well, you don't get 450 games. You get like 5, and you gotta buy the rest.
Nah, yeah, you do gotta buy them. But hey, with the other games, you gotta buy those exclusives too.
That's true. You're right.
It's fair.
You're right.
It's fair.
You're right. But that's 450 black and white games.
But listen. I have not heard of any game needing to be pushed back, not broken on release. Okay, these games are, and they came out within a year. 400. When did you hear about the Wolverine game? It's been over a year now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
It's been Where's the Wolverine? They can't do it. Now see the Playdate people, they can just come out with their exclusives. I mean 400. Are you willing to admit that the Playdate has more exclusives than possibly PS5's entire generation in its first year? You willing to admit?
Yeah.
It's got more than PlayStation, Xbox, and Nintendo combined, bro. More exclusive in its first year. Why y'all don't want to buy it, man? What's going on, man? Y'all be arguing exclusive. Isn't this the whole point of the console war? Exclusives. All right, this thing got the most. You can't sit here and tell me that PlayStation got the most exclusive or Nintendo got the most exclusives. You can't say it no more. You can't.
You keep saying y'all. You buy one?
Listen. We ain't talking about me. We talking about y'all. We talking about you, man. We talk about the PlayStation fan base. Listen. I will get around to it eventually. I got some stuff I gotta handle. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get to it. 400, but I can't ignore.
I just needed it to be $100 cheaper.
I gotta give them their props. Like I will say, because of the magnitude of what the Playdate was, I was like, you know what? It's still a thing, and I want to cover it. And because I covered it, I was like, you know what? I want to give props to all the emulation machines. And then I started looking at videos of those, and I was just like, you know what? I kind of want to own a couple of those. And so I actually did go get those, and I can't stop playing them. At least the Mayu Mini.
You know what though? I don't know if you can. That's one thing. I don't know if you can emulate Playdate games, right? Because you need that crank.
Yeah, It's exclusive.
Super exclusive. Okay.
Unless somebody come out with an emulated system that has a crank on it, that would be so scumbag. You can't even like hide it. Like at least with the other stuff, it's like, okay, it can play certain games, but like how scumbagish would it be if somebody come out with a device that literally has a crank on it? It's like, well, why do you got the crank on it? It's like, oh no, I just want to put the crank on it. It's like, okay, all right, but yeah, man,
That'd be so trash.
it would be so trash. Apparently, I looked at their April update. Like games come out by the month. They'll have more than one. They just bam, and it's theirs. Apparently, any and everybody can develop for it. If you have any ideas and anything that you might want to try, you can literally develop for the system and sell on the storefront, and it'll be your profits too. So for anybody out there, if you really want to figure it out, like it might be a good investment for you to actually get a Playdate and become a like developer for it, because it has a niche, very niche market, but those people are supporting it, you know. But yeah, man, if we want to say which system, whenever you hear somebody say that their system has the most exclusives, if they don't say the Playdate, you better correct them. Like, no, it's the Playdate. The Playdate has the most exclusives. Over 400. This is the first year. How long do generations normally last, man? We talking what, 7, 8 years? So if they're up 450 in the first year, 450 a year, bro, you know how many exclusives they gonna have? It's not like, oh, like for a lot of game systems, like that's how many games they come out with. It's like, no. It's that's going to be exclusive to the Playdate. I'm just saying, I gotta give them their props, man. They serve in their community. It might be a small community, but they serving them. That's a lot. That is a lot. Yeah. So I'm hoping that I don't know. It's gonna cost a lot too. I'm hoping for a discount here and there.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
If it was 200, but like all the games were like $1 or $2 each.
Bro, each game
sure,
like $5. Some of them be like $3 to $5. Yeah.
Some of them are 15.
Yeah, I've seen.
That's the thing. So it's like if each of them were like $2 each.
Those are like the AAA games. The 15 ones are AAA, I guess, ish.
Yeah.
In a way. But at the very least, man, they got them. They have games. I cannot deny that they have them. So yeah. We can move on for that. Real quick, I just wanted to give a shout out to a game that I did feature in the video where it was like 20 games. It's a game called The Mage Seeker, a League of Legends story. That was the one that I said reminded me of Kratos and God of War, like the old one, like a top down. So that's out. You can play it. Almost every game that I mentioned there was like $30 or less. So this is one of them. And I do plan on getting it. It looks similar to the game that I showed in the very, very beginning of the podcast. That one was more so like this one. It looks like top down, like Kratos from like the PS2, PS3 era Kratos. In a way, he has these chains on his arms, and he's like, swinging them at people and stuff. No blades of Olympics. It's just chains, and he's just like swinging them. So I thought it stood out to me, and so yeah, that came out. Did you see the trailer? I didn't show this to you, but did you see? Have you been keeping up with Diablo 4 and you saw the trailer for the Barbarian class? I think. Bro, is that not Kratos too? They made Kratos.
Oh, absolutely Kratos.
They made the Kratos. I'm like, yo, Kratos is in these games. Like, I was kind of excited to see him, but he was screaming in a way, and he sound almost like him in a sense. Like they kind of made the actor, I guess, whoever. It probably was just like, yo, you need to sound like the Ghost of Sparta. I don't know what they told him, but yeah, he was in there, and that's just one class. They've shown other like trailers for other classes, but Yeah. You saw that
No,
trailer,
look,
right? Does that look like a game or not game, but does that look like a character you would play? Of course you're gonna play the game, but what about
yeah,
the character?
yeah, it's kind of the second hypest looking one for me. The main one was the druid
Okay.
class because I like the shape shifting ability. There's
Okay.
always every Diablo game. There's always like two classes that I juggle between. Druid was one, but barbarian is definitely number two for that one. Um, and to be honest, it was just because I like the idea of shape shifting, like you like having the bear form and the wolf form and all that. If that wasn't there, barbarian's number one. Like that thing looked
Okay.
great.
Yeah, it did. It looked really good. And I thought it might be one of the main classes that I would use. Cuz I'm still a fan of God of War obviously, and I like the gameplay aspect of how they move and how they act. So I would pick that class, and then the Mage Seeker, the game, also I would play that game just because of God of War. So, you know, shout out to Kratos. Shout out to the Ghost of Sparta.
Shout out to Kratos.
And shout out to the influences. Yeah, so we are almost out of, I think we are out of gaming topics. We're going to move into the non-gaming stuff. Is there anything else you want to mention gaming wise before we move into like the more non-gaming stuff?
Nothing I can think of.
Okay. So yeah, the non-gaming stuff, like the first thing, I think we could probably go through this kind of quickly. I just wanted to touch on the Transformers Rise of the Beast
Yeah.
trailer. And then also the Godzilla and Godzilla Kong trailer as well. We could probably be quick on both, but like at least for the Transformer one, the part that looks good is going to obviously be the robots, obviously the Transformers. But everything else kind of looks bad to me. I don't know. How do you feel
Okay.
about that?
So I'm trying to get past my nostalgia. I grew up watching Beast Wars.
Yeah.
So like they're doing Beast Wars. Now I get it that it's not the same characters, right? Bumblebee isn't the cheetah. Optimus Prime isn't the
Yeah, so that
gorilla.
was kind of a red flag for me. I'm like, how are they just completely different?
Well,
Like,
I figured because wasn't it, or I think it was already established in lore that when they came to the planet, they like immediately became cars and
right,
everything
right.
when they came here. So it would be weird if like they're like, well, before that we visited and we were like these. So I figured they would be different characters.
You know what I
Um,
just realized, like literally just now, that was a gripe, but I gotta backtrack because I remember Optimus Primal when I was a kid. I remember the episode where he found the body of Optimus Prime. And
uh,
same thing happened with like with Megatron. He took the spark out of the G1 Megatron, and then he got thrown into like the lava, and that's when he became the dragon. You remember that?
uh, I
And then
do.
when Optimus Prime grabbed the spark of the other Optimus Primal grabbed Optimus Prime spark, that's when he became that super robot that was like blue and yellow and was like super
Yeah.
Titan size. So I got to backtrack. Yeah, they were separate, but I guess in the movie they're all alive at the same time, and they
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be Optimus Primal. I think that would that's gonna
yeah,
confuse many people. He's gonna have a different name.
yeah, I don't know.
Um,
Yeah, and Cheetor
it does
and Bumblebee and everything.
it does seem
Yeah,
like it focuses on the like Latino boy and the black girl a little too much. Uh,
yeah,
Humans
that
in
and
general, you
the
know me. I just always get upset when humans come a focus. Like it's like I don't want to see them.
it
I
was
want
just
to.
the cringy comedy was what probably got it for me. You didn't see the last night. I saw the last night. It was like a lot of that, but they didn't advertise it in the trailers. The trailers was just showing Optimus attempting to attack Bumblebee and everything, and then in the actual movie you see all the reasons why and everything. But in the trailer they put way more emphasis on Optimus just being like Nemesis Prime, basically.
Uh-huh.
The second you saw the show, it was just like nonstop cringy, like humor. So cringy. It was to the point where there was a robot that was in the movie that didn't transform, but he was almost like an Alpha 5 or like not R2D2 but the gold one, whatever that was. Like he was like one of them kind of robots, right, from Star Wars. Okay. Yeah. He got in the car.
C-3PO.
Yeah, this dude gets in one of the cars and he was like driving and he started singing Ludacris' song like "Move, Get Out the Way." He started singing that as he was driving, like unprovoked. It was just like, yeah, and he was saying it in a way that was like really supposed to be funny. And like at one point they had like the Hannibal dude in there, Anthony Hopkins, and he was supposed to be like this like wise, all-knowing person. Why? Like he was just in it. He was just in it. It made no sense why he was there. It was a lot of that. It was a lot of that, and that became like one of the worst movies, to the point where they paused their Unicron storyline and just like did a soft reboot with the Bumblebee movie, which I heard was more positive. And I think ain't John Cena in that too? He was in there, right?
Yep.
I didn't see it yet, but that one was more positive. I was so turned off from the last night that I didn't even want to see the rest. But then that happened, and then now they're coming back to the Unicron film, and they added to it, because before it was just like, oh, the Transformers got to go against Unicron. Now they're saying that they're teaming up with all of the animal ones to go against Unicron. But my only question involved in that is like, what happens with like the dinosaur ones? You remember the dinosaur ones? We didn't see them at all. Like, where's the T-Rex guy? Where's all the, yeah. None of them are there. They didn't die. Spoiler alert in the last night. At least, like, I don't know what happened. They're just not there. So it's like, maybe you can't have the animals and the dinosaurs and the robots. Maybe that's too much for the audience or something. It was like, this would have been a good time for them to do like some sort of like Marvel Avengers, like MCU Transformer kind of thing. But
maybe they're trying to save it. Like they
for
pop
the next
in to
one.
Help out. Like they pop in to help out, like in the end part of the fight, without like the trailer.
They didn't show any of them. Hopefully, but I didn't see any of them. But they did put a lot more focus on just showing Optimus right next to the ape version, I guess. But a lot of people was like right in the middle. I'm more in the middle just because of the last night. Like I know it's still gonna be cringy, but I'm going to support it. This is still one of the franchises that I do want to see a game for. Technically, there is a game that's going to be coming out for it. I don't know all the information on it because they only showed that one thing at the award show, I guess.
Oh yeah, the one that like didn't look like.
Yeah, it looked like it was just like you were going to be in a mech suit or something or whatever.
Yeah.
So that was a video that I plan on still making because I wanted to give props to Transformers for at least trying to make a game, and then praise for the Last Ronin, the Ninja Turtle one, and then also say, now where's my Power Ranger one? Because that was the third one. I got 2 out of the 3.
Yep, you got 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3 at least. I need that third one, so I'm gonna make another video on that. Well, sometime next week or the week after. Yeah.
We might end up getting a Power Ranger one because of the success of the 30th anniversary.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that in a minute. Because that's gonna take up like the last piece. Yeah. I also wanted to just mention the Godzilla and Kong trailer. That one was more teaser, real quick. Yep. I don't have a problem with that at all, really. My only thing that I'm saying, and I already know you're gonna say it's not gonna happen. I just want to see definitive winner if they're gonna go there. I want to see, because they did all type of fatality kills in the earlier films, but the second we got to the Godzilla Kong, it's like, okay, everybody's walking away.
However, this one's not Godzilla versus Kong. This is Godzilla and Kong.
Yeah, they're supposed to like team up, but we saw that screenshot, or they fought for a split second, right? Don't they still fight?
I didn't know what was going on. Everything was red, and I thought they were dead.
Yeah, well, according to the trailer, during the fight, it awakens something else that was in Hollow Earth, probably is sitting there on the throne, and it's got like the skulls of both Godzilla and Kong's like ancestors or something. So it's defeated both of them before. But it looked like, from the shape of it, it looked like it was another gorilla. I didn't know. I was kind of confused on that. I'm like, maybe it's Rampage or something. I don't know. But yeah, I will watch that one. Let me know if you want to see that in theater. We saw the other ones in theater. Let me know if you want to see it in theaters. I don't mind. I might actually. I wouldn't mind watching the Transformer one in theater with you as well. It'll lessen the blow of me watching it by myself, because if it's by myself, I'm gonna roll my eyes at certain points and I'm gonna just pull up my phone and that's the end of it. So we'll figure it out. We can talk about it because that's like way in the summertime, right? So June. Oh yeah, that's like right around the corner. Yeah. We blink and it'll be here. Yeah, we could watch both of those, like whatever one comes out in June, the other one, I don't know when the other one comes out. When does Godzilla come out?
I have no idea. I don't know if it has a release date.
That one might be close to the fall. We can, go out to eat and chill out and watch it. Oh, that's next year. Oh, well, never mind.
Yeah. March 15th, 2024.
All right, well, that's a far ways out, so we'll worry about that sometime next year.
There's a whole cast of humans.
Yeah.
There's a whole cast of humans.
We know how that goes when we watch that. So.
Brian Tyree Henry's in it. He be getting in everything now.
Yeah.
Shout out to him. But whole cast of humans.
Yeah. So that's gonna be interesting. We can move on. Before we talk about the Hasbro and the Power Ranger thing, I did want to mention real quick the WWE. I know you wanted to mention the lawsuit or something. You could be brief on that, and then I wanted to talk about the other part. But yeah, go ahead. What was going on with that?
A former writer for WWE is suing, saying that
the ghetto
and ghetto and racist and all this other stuff.
Yeah, so I remember they saying she was ghetto or something.
One of the things was they wouldn't listen to the minority writers.
Yeah.
They would feed lines for some of their minority wrestlers that the wrestlers said that they didn't want to say, and they don't feel like it would be their character. And apparently whoever was in charge was like, yes, it is. One of the examples was also Apollo Crews randomly, just when he went heel and he was supposed to be like a Nigerian leader, he all of a sudden had a Nigerian accent out of nowhere. And apparently Apollo was like, he didn't want to do that, like do the accent. He's like, why can't I just be like, be like Killmonger from Black Panther? Like, why do I all of a sudden have to throw on the accent? And they were like, no, you need to, and force the writers to put it in there.
That reminded me of Kofi Kingston, like really early on.
Yeah,
that was goofy. That was goofy.
But the other issue, I don't know if we want to talk about this one, was the one with Mansoor, the Saudi Arabian guy that they have. Who's now
I don't know this story. But, okay.
So this is the one that kind of got people up in arms more than the other one.
Yeah.
So they were going to do a story of a love triangle between Mansoor, Aaliyah, and Angel Garza. But Mansoor has the secret that he keeps keeping from Aaliyah, which is what's pushing her away to Angel Garza. Okay. And when the writer was told to make this like love triangle with him having a secret, one of the dudes in charge was like, the secret should be that Mansoor is behind the September attack.
Oh my God.
He would have been
no way.
He would have been 6 years old at that time. And the writers went, no. And he said, no, that's good. Write that down. And it just kind of was like, y'all need to do that. And I think it was like that and some other storylines were like, if the minority writer said no, they were told, no, still do it. But if like a white writer came up and was like, no, we can't do that, then they're like, all right, I guess we can't do it. Is what would happen. But that was the one that
they could do it for PR reasons too. That would have been disastrous on the show.
Yep. Like, what? Also ignoring that he's not even the from where where it all happened and stuff. That's like, just silly. They just went. He's from the eastern part of the world. Yeah. And they ended up not doing it because they didn't use him for that. Now he's doing the model gimmick. But that was the thing that they were throwing around as should be the gimmick. So this lady is like, yeah, she's suing because of that type of stuff. That was them just being out of control.
Yeah,
And
I don't know how far the lawsuit's gonna go, but I do remember seeing like comments and stuff. People kind of like laughing at it a little bit because it sounded funny on paper. But yeah, that's shame on them for that. Shame on them for that.
yeah,
I guess I
who
do
just
also. I wanted to
who said,
mention briefly. I'm sorry. Go ahead. What are you gonna say?
I was just saying, who just says that? Who walks through is like, oh, this is a good idea. Write it down. Like it
Yeah.
was you had to hear yourself say that out loud. You're supposed to laugh and say, "No, I'm just kidding. That's a bad joke." Like you don't be like, "Yeah, write that down. That's good."
Yeah,
But we can move on. Yeah.
that's crazy. But no, also still wrestling related. I do want to shout out to Naomi, who's now known as Trinity. Apparently, she debuted at Impact Wrestling.
Yeah.
And I didn't see it, but I guess they said they was giving her an open mic. Like it was advertised like, oh, she gonna get an open mic. Usually that means, oh, she about to go and like shoot, but I don't think she did. I don't know, but yeah, I didn't see that episode. But I do want to mention. So was gearing up to like kind of come back to wrestling. And I wanted to like just do a time skip because I was so far behind. And one of the things that I remember hearing was that like they were saying when Triple H actually does that like draft, which I don't know if it already happened. You could tell me, but
it started yesterday.
Yeah, like from that point forward, it's supposed to be him all the way in creative, and then no. Okay.
So Vince McMahon, he was in creative since SummerSlam of last year.
Okay.
It was like when Vince had to go, that was when Triple H was fully in charge.
Okay.
He was wrapping up some of Vince's stories, but he was the one in charge. Vince now, he's not in creative. However, everything still needs to pass through him. He's like just the upper charge.
Okay.
So
Okay.
he still has been tearing up scripts or telling him rewrite stuff last minute. He keeps canceling women's segments.
Ooh.
So it's like it's primarily Triple H's ideas.
Okay.
But like Vince still gets final say, which is why I stopped watching.
Well, I gotta check my sources. Then somebody must have lied, but I say that because I also remember they were saying the rumor was sometime in June AEW was also supposed to have like a pay-per-view or something, and it was supposed to be in Chicago, and CM Punk was supposed to be officially back.
Oh.
And so I was like, okay, well, it sounds like a good time to like jump in where it might be. It might be, but the thing about it, here's what happened. So I gotta jump back to WWE. What turned me off, honestly, was when Triple H. I saw some of the footage. He introduced the World Heavyweight Championship. Now, I know it's not the exact same belt and everything, and I shouldn't be taking it too far, I guess, a little bit, but the way it looked for me as somebody who is familiar with wrestling but haven't watched or whatever, it looked like okay, I'm not trashing the belt the way it looks. It doesn't look as good as the original. The logo makes it look a little silly to me, and I would have preferred the side plates to be a little bit different than the other belt. I don't think it looks like the AEW belt. I saw a lot of people comparing, but only thing I was just saying is just I don't like the optics of nobody can beat Roman, so let's create another belt. That's how it looks to me. It looks like nobody can beat Roman, so let's create another belt. I was always the one, I think I even said it on air a couple times, where I was like, they need to simplify the belts. That's what I always kept saying that, and I feel like that it looks like they're doing the opposite. It's like, well, now you're creating another one. It's like, is he still going to have two belts, Roman, or is he going to just like he's going to like stop carrying one? Do we know? Or
no, I think it just as of now he still has both belts, and they're just making this new one because you know the part of the issue is that one show's on Fox and one show is on USA.
Yeah,
and both networks are like, we want a world champion, because then people like their logic makes sense. Like, why would people tune into the show that doesn't have a world champion? So
right.
We want a world champion. So if Roman's not going to just be on both shows because they're trying to do the draft thing, then you need to make a new world champion ship, but like it is still that's the optics is no one can
Yeah,
beat
nobody. It looks like nobody can beat him, and then at the same time, how are you a world champion and universal champion, and then we also have another world champion? It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, and so
really
that kind of it turned me off a little bit. And I was just like, yeah, maybe I'll wait a little bit. Let me see how it looks.
So
I didn't want to.
watch, I would say watch actually from like if you really just want to get back in the group from SummerSlam to WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Or even you can go a little bit after SummerSlam to WrestleMania because like I don't think anything's really gonna top that Roman Reigns, Sami Zayn storyline.
The problem though is I don't have that footage. I don't just have it. I stopped like grabbing it as well. So that's the only problem. So I was just like, well, I can easily get the current stuff or just watch whatever. But
another shout out real quick because you mentioned for debuts.
yeah.
So Roderick Strong had hurt his ankle while he was in NXT.
Okay.
He healed, but they were like, we just ain't got nothing for you, which was weird because his stable was in like a storyline and they just left him out. Yeah. And he just wasn't there. And that was like the last you hear of it. So they never announced that he was let go or anything. They just kept that completely under wraps. And then he surprise debuted this past week in AEW to help out Adam Cole. So shout out to Roderick Strong. It is weird though because Kyle O'Reilly's injured, but like now 3 out of 4 of Undisputed Era is in AEW and Bobby Fish is gone from AEW. And it's like, no, get him back so he can have all 4 together.
Yeah. Shout out to them. I am going to get back in wrestling and stuff and keep doing what I used to do. But I was just turned off by the belt. That was the main thing I wanted to talk about. It was just...
They don't need another belt.
Yeah,
they need to find a way to resplit the two.
Yeah.
Or even do something where like...
Didn't
what should have happened, I think, instead was even like if Cody wins or Roman won, you combine the 2 belts into one.
Yeah.
And then they should have they could have even said because of the draft, this champion is now stuck to this show. So then with there being complaints about the other show not having a belt, that's where they make a new tournament to make if that was the way to split them back up again.
I have a question though, because in real life though, didn't they do the venues like really close to each other just in case? I remember that was always a thing. Like, is there a reason why Roman can't just be on both venues and they just pay the man? Because you're putting a lot of stock behind him, you know?
I don't think Roman is going to be like full-time. I think he's not going to be on either. I don't see why they should have just had like Roman be the champion for both shows. And I just feel like, I don't know, it's like with the time of day, I know some people can argue against this, but I feel like with the day and age we're in now, we have a women's champion and they're elevated for a reason, right? So whichever show Roman's primarily on, the women's championship should be the focus of the other one. And like problem so like I feel like Bianca Belair can be a focus.
Yeah, but not only that too, like other titles can main event a show at some point. Like even the tag titles can main event a show at some point. Yep. Like
they could have easily still like led to like a even like a women's match, right?
Yeah.
Combining those 2 belts as well to simplify. Now we don't want less women's stories, but in the idea of like doing that where and then just strategically make sure one is on one show and one is on the other show. Yeah. Like every time, like to just strategically do that, even if you switch who's appearing for the week. I don't know, but I also don't know how long this draft is going to last. I don't even know who's drafted where. Like I said, I stopped watching, but I don't know how long the draft is going to last. I don't know why they can't just have the one top champion.
I just want to say I do kind of want to pick it back up like sometime in the summer, like when it's nice and warm and stuff, because I used to really enjoy watching the way I watch in the summertime with food and everything. So I kind of want to start doing that again because it's been a while since I've done it. Yeah, I was just a little disappointed to see that. And it did look like it was a Triple H decision, though, a creative decision, because I was like, why would you get the world heavyweight title? Like that would really look like a Triple H thing or like an Eric Bischoff thing if we had Eric Bischoff behind the scenes. But
yeah, it's honestly it's because of the network. The network has been talking to them about having their own champion. and I guess they're not satisfied with like they still consider like the U.S. title or things like that secondary. So it's like we want like a world title if you're going to be on our network. I don't know.
Well, we'll
Again,
talk more about it when it
Very easily done
develops.
to work.
Yeah, we'll follow the stories behind that a little bit more, and I'll keep the people informed on when I jump in, and we could probably talk more about it on a regular basis once I jump back in.
You can tell me what's happening.
I can tell you what's happening. I only tell you like the stuff I picked to watch though. It's going to be very spotty because I'm going to
That's
be really
fine.
strict on it. I'm going to be strict.
If
But
AEW had a better streaming place,
yeah,
like I would be able to watch it. I'd do that. Like, and I'd watch
Yeah.
AEW. And it's not even on some like, well, I'm leaving WWE. I'm done forever. I really can't. I can't with Vince. Like, he wants to be in charge of his show. Okay, like it's yours. Whatever. It's just I can't watch it because I can't tune in each week and wonder. Well, did they rip up the script? Does it matter that I saw it last week? Is it going to be a good or a bad show? I just want consistency.
Right.
And Vince in charge means no consistency. So it's like until he's gone, like even if it's consistently bad, at least you're like it's a consistent storyline, and he doesn't know how to follow that. So it's like, well, nah.
Well, we'll keep updating with wrestling every now and then. Now, on a lighter note, I will say, I guess real quick, when I do get back into it, I will have more information on UFC as well and New Japan Pro Wrestling because I put all of that in one, and boxing. There's been some boxing stuff happening. But we can move on. The last thing that was on the agenda was Power Rangers. We probably are almost out of time. We got about 20 minutes. I think we can still utilize that whole time. But I just wanted to talk about the quick part first, and then we can actually talk about the special because I think that's going to talk or have more time. But they had a Hasbro fan stream for the figures. And I just wanted to shout out that they finally decided to put some shine on the Turbo Rangers, and the first one that they showed was TJ. So I would imagine they're going to do that full set and not the set with Tommy and the other Rangers. But this is the first time we had a Turbo period in a while. So I will be supporting that one.
December.
Yeah. I will be
there's DJ Day in December. That's not surprising. But yeah, I actually might pick this one up. And I'm not really big on the figures.
Yeah.
But just to be like, it's a good idea. Like, please do more of the season. We don't get to see.
Yeah. So I will be getting that one. So that right now the pre-orders are a little sold out. But from what I remember from my experience with getting the Ninja Rangers, once they were available, they're available. So I'm not worried about pre-orders. I'll just get it when it's available. I will say, so it is going to be $24.99 at retail. And also they had a couple other figures. I'm gonna be honest, I forgot the other two that they showed in that like set because I was so fixated on him. But
it was Turbo. Was that the set that still? No, they didn't have the green, pink, and white.
No, they did like other seasons. Like one of them I think was like a Dino season, if I'm not mistaken. They did do another version of like Mighty Morphin. What was funny is in that stream there was like, here's our first line that doesn't have Mighty Morphin, and then did a whole nother line that was just all Mighty Morphin. I was like, okay.
It was two more figures, right? It was the blue Lightspeed Rescue Ranger, which I'm happy that they did.
Yeah.
And the yellow RPM Ranger. Again, happy that they did.
Yeah,
Like, I'm especially because I've been rewatching some Lightspeed Rescue.
Sure.
And like red and blue were like super popular from them.
Yeah.
Some people are trying to get the Forever Red team, and they're just like, oh, we're a couple short. That's what they're trying to do.
Now, what's cool is this is the first time they're also showing a Red Ranger with the Green Ranger's shield. That was not in the 2-pack with Jason, right? That nobody could get because they like sold out immediately in the pre-orders, which was whack. And then everybody tried to scalp it. And so that was one of them. That was going to be like one of the first ones that I was going to get, and I just couldn't get it. It's like, what, 2-3 years ago from now? But now they're going to have the Red Ranger like that, and they're actually like they're selling a green one without a shield. And you're supposed to be able to take the shield and put it on anyone, and not only that, the actual gold pieces that's on his arm, kind of like the John Cena thing, like that could pull off and go on any of their arms as well. Which I can imagine if somebody's doing that a lot, they might lose it. So I kind of want that version because I never got the green one, and I never got the red one with the shield. So those are being released, and I think they had like the pink one with it, if I'm not mistaken. And everybody was saying the face on the pink one actually looks a lot more like Kimberly now compared to that first one. Yeah. And so, they're doing that. I think with that line, they all can hold the morpher in their hand as well, and they can pose with it. So I thought that was pretty cool, even though it was a little inaccurate because the morpher was still on a belt, even though they was posing with a morpher prop. So it's like, let's just forget about that. You get a morpher, But I don't think they come with civilian heads. Only the Tommy one did. The rest of them didn't for some reason. So they took the shield off of Tommy and gave you a civilian head, but you didn't get anything else. But I will say that one it don't look as much like Tommy as the one where he had the green bandana on his head. That one looks a lot more like Tommy. But I think they were basing it on the episodes with the green candle, if you remember that. So they give you the green candle prop as well. So I thought I was retired on that. I was like, you know what? I'll go back and grab some of these figures. So I'm going to get the turbo one for sure. I'm going to get the red one with the green shield. And I'm going to get the Green Ranger one because I didn't get those. I might go ahead and just complete the set because I still never got the pink. I never got the pink, I never got the blue, and I never got the black because I thought that they didn't look like them. But their new revisions of their face and stuff, they look more like them, so I might actually get those. Over time, I do think they will be available. I don't think they're going to not be available, mainly because of the Ninja Rangers. I got all of those with no problem, right? I did also want to mention real quick involving that. I thought it was funny that they had a black and gold version of the Megazord that they were selling as well. And that was originally an NFT. And the NFT version was $200. And then they just like conveniently said, oh, we're reselling this and it's going to be the real version now. And this real version is $179.99. So it's $20 cheaper and it's the real thing. So whoever got the NFT, you just got that screenshot, basically. I don't know. Do you think they should give them one? Do you think they should get it, or do they got to pay another? No,
pay extra. You shouldn't have bought an NFT. Though. Pay extra. Like, that's what you get. Ha ha. Ha ha. Ha. That's how I feel.
Oh, well, y'all go after him. Don't go after me. Make sure y'all mention Omeza's name in the comment section if y'all do.
Bring your NFT, boy. Let's go. I'm about to argue with someone who's about to pay millions of dollars for a digital picture that I can copy and save. All right, like we got the same photo and I ain't paid.
All right, and the last thing was actually at the very beginning of their stream. They acknowledged that their products that they were putting out was like on defective on a level that they needed to address, and that they had a link in their description of the video and also on the website where they were telling you if you had any concerns about your product, you can request replacements. I don't know if there's refunds there, but I know you can request replacements for certain parts or maybe the whole thing. So I thought that was kudos on them because they did have a lot of bad parts and a lot of bad stuff going on. Even myself, I would have to admit, both of my units, the Megazord and the Dragon Zord, had defects, but it's not enough for me to want to actually go back and do any replacements. I might do it on the Dragon Zord. I might look at that because what was defective was the tail, but it's still working. It's just when you pop the tail off, you can see it's clearly a dent somewhere in the inside. And that was a common issue with everybody. So I just don't know if I want to go through the hassle of doing that because everything still works like normal. But I'll figure it out eventually. And then the last final thing for the Power Rangers was the big show. They had a big 30th anniversary show. I can't believe it's been 30 years. I am a dinosaur.
30 years. Yeah.
But I watched the show on Netflix, right? And you saw this as well. How do you feel about the show?
All right. So I thoroughly enjoyed it. Okay. It was cringy. It was campy.
Very campy.
Silly,
yes.
But like I really enjoyed it. It feels like it was ripped from the like 90s MMPR. Like, and I really enjoyed it. I will say though, I think some people online are a little more crazy about it than I am. Like I saw a post that said, "How many times have you watched it?" Somebody was like, "I've watched it 11 times and counting."
Oh my gosh!
And I'm like, "Why?"
Well, I've only seen it once, and I recognize it. You know, if they come out with like a sequel, I think they might come out with a sequel because despite what people were saying about it, apparently the views on this was pretty high.
Yes, it ended up reaching up to, I think, either number 4 or number 2 on like Netflix's top 5 to watch.
Yeah. So that's a big deal. That's a big deal. I originally thought in some cases it felt a little rushed. I would have preferred them just have their own season and not just 1 hour long special, because technically that first, it could have been like 2 episodes, right? And they could have just kept going, but apparently I don't know what the budget was on it. I do think the CGI on the Megazord looked a little silly.
But yeah, I was fine with it.
I don't know who the guy is, but there's a guy who be in those like Power Ranger groups who show off his CGI work where he made videos on Megazords, and some of them have a lot of views, like on YouTube. He has a YouTube channel. His stuff looks far superior than what we saw in that Netflix show. They literally should have got him because he already had it all done, and he did like Megazord battle royals and stuff, like as a YouTube video, and it featured like a lot of different Megazords, and they was like they had like extra details where when they were transforming, it kind of looked like Transformers in a way, and like they had the Megazord in the Netflix show trying to be like a little bit more acrobatic than normal, and it just didn't look right because of the CGI. I felt like as of today that CGI was a little bit poor compared to like they could have gotten like a gaming company to do like a what's the name, like a CGI trailer.
Their normal CGI stuff that they do looks better. Like an everyday, like I would even say the episodes of like Dino Fury and stuff like that were also less campy than what this special was.
That CGI work was almost on the same level as the 1995 movie though.
A little bit, yeah.
It was like, yo, have we not learned anything in 20 years, 30 years, or whatever?
But part of me wonders, did they do that
on purpose
for the like the nostalgia people? Because I felt like I said, even the writing and some of it, if it's the same people who are writing Dino Fury, it was a lot more campy than what Dino Fury is. And I'm like, did you do that so it would match the 90s for the people who stopped at MMPR? Coming back and it's exactly how they remember it. Is what I'm wondering. But like, so there was a couple of things that I noticed too. Somebody mentioned, why did they morph so quickly to fight the putties? And I'm like, because they're old. They old.
I thought it was funny when Zach was like they had the spot where he was in the area where he was trying to dance, and you could clearly see he was a little stiff. It reminded me of some of those Genuine movies or Genuine like memes. Yeah. He was kind of stiff, but I ain't hold it against him.
One thing that bothered me though was this part. So it was the part where you have the 2 robot monsters and they magnetize them, and then Min is like, "Yo, crush them, like destroy them." And Billy is like, he's like, "No. Destroy, like mass destruction is never, or is usually never an option." Well, then it turns out not only did they still have to destroy them because they got free, but you had to destroy them in order to free your friends. Needed to destroy the snake one to begin with. It wasn't even like he needs to stay alive to save the friends. Like, no, he needed to go. to save the friends. So you
Yeah.
could have saved them faster by doing this. And on top of that, it was like every single episode y'all destroyed a monster. Why are you hesitant now?
Yeah.
Like it's like destroy them. Like
I failed to mention, I should probably say that this is going to technically be a spoiler discussion for whoever. So if you didn't see it, please pause and then just come back. Just pause and come back. See, my calls is just mean. Pause and come back and watch it, please.
Yeah, watch it for sure.
Now the jaw dropper moment for me, I had a YouTuber bug-eyed jaw dropper moment when Billy impaled Rita. I was not expecting him to go full fatality. He was just like, Rita's distracted. And then I was like, okay, she's distracted. He's about to go like roundhouse kick or something. My man was like, boom. And they showed it. They don't never show stuff like that. I was like, yo,
yeah.
Not only that, I think in the dialogue, I never expected them to use terms like killed or dead or die, because they don't usually do that in Power Rangers either. So I was like, if they were going to take...
She killed Mom, and then said we have to destroy her. Not we have to kill her. But Billy, he was like, no, we got to kill her. Like,
my man was like, Rita's distracted. Bam! I was like, whoa! Because it was a shocker, because I thought she was about to be gone, and then they was going to take out the monster, and that was it. I was like, yo, they did a shocker. But then she's kind of just got up and started crawling, because she's technically still a robot. Because in my head for a second, I was like, hey, she's still kind of a robot, though. But then she did kind of get up for a second. But that was a shocker moment for me. But it was kind of cool. I did think, though, if they were going to do like little liberties here and there, that they probably should have taken a little bit more liberties, because they know their primary audience is like in the 30s and 40s or whatever. They've seen, like, at the very least, they've also just got done watching the Mortal Kombat movie too. So maybe blood would have been pushing it. Maybe. Definitely some of the type of content that you saw in that one YouTube video a long time ago, that would have been pushing it too. But I would have thought that maybe they could have at least had a little bit more seriousness to their drama, because there were moments where I thought the acting was a little off when it came to the emotion. Like, there were moments where it seemed like they looked like they wanted to cry or wanted to try to, but just didn't. And it probably would have been more effective moments if they did.
Ben was going off.
Yeah. I don't understand the 1 year time skip. I didn't understand that. Like, as soon as they was like, okay, Trini is deceased, here's a 1 year time skip. I didn't understand the 1 year time skip.
I know what they were trying to do there, honestly. It was their way of explaining why Min is gifted in like martial arts.
Yeah.
They didn't want to just be like, she's been training her whole life, because she didn't know her mom was a Power Ranger.
Yeah.
So then the 1 year time skip was to explain Zach quitting his job, Zach moving in with Min, and Min training every day to be a Power Ranger and knowing karate. That's what they were trying to do without saying it.
My continuity error that I had with that was that blast killed Trinity. However, the daughter took the blast not even in a power suit, and she was fine. She just got knocked down. That was the one thing I was just like, okay, that doesn't make sense. Really.
Yep. Especially because Rita straight up said, prepare to die like your friend. Like, so it was a full death blast.
Yeah.
So that part I don't know. That part is like continuity. Also, so I'm wondering if this does continue in the future. One thing that other people want, which I would love to see, is reunion specials of other seasons.
Yeah.
Which I would love. But then past that, if this one continues, do you think that's going to be the team, or do you think they're going to put a whole young team together? Of like,
I would prefer that they actually do, because it did look a little jarring a couple times when like the guys, like, it's nice to see them. I would like to see them take more of a group Zordon role. Like, they could still be in the show.
Yeah.
But like what Adam and Aisha was doing, I think that's perfect for the rest of the team. And they just train the next set. Simply,
speaking of, I do like that continuity now, because SPD was supposed to take place in 2025.
Yeah.
So SPA is supposed to be leading into SPD. So I like the idea that Adam and Aisha are like the headliners, and
Yeah.
name dropped a planet that they were visiting in
Yeah.
there. That planet is where the dog guy from SPD, Kruger, their
Okay.
boss, that's his home planet, I believe.
I will say, like, yeah, like another thing too, like if they do come back with another season, like I don't want to just make it seem like the old guys is old guys, like put them on the category of like Bruce Wayne from Batman Beyond. It did seem a little jarring that they were still fighting, like, and they were kind of like the way that it was portrayed is that they just keep doing Power Ranger stuff all the time, like how they got Rocky and was like, oh, I was in the middle of eating my lunch. Do I got to do some training? Like, it's like I would rather see, even with him, like not being a firefighter. Not no disrespect to firefighters, but like I would like to see the full team doing galactic type stuff. They are the Zordons, you know, or like some sort of like MCU Eternals kind of thing. Like they're just at that level. And they give the power to a younger team. You got the girl, and like get the rest of them, I guess. Yeah, some of the Easter eggs was cool. The school, the juice place, Buck and Skull, that was pretty cool. Yeah, the car. I was not expecting them to bring back the car. Yeah, I don't understand the whole point of trying to bring back Zordon. That just seems kind of odd.
It is odd, but like I guess Billy has never stopped hunting for him because it was like, you know, release my energy and then I can clear the air. It was crazy because when I saw somebody was like trying to guess why Robo Rita was back, they're like, I bet they're like, you know, when Rita was cured by Zordon, it removed the evil out of her.
Yeah, I remember. And Zed.
Yeah. So they were like, that evil gotta go somewhere is what someone hinted. It was like, maybe that's why Rita's back, and then for them to actually do that, that was cool.
I didn't understand what was the point of like robot Rita needing to go team up with the original Rita. That didn't really make a lot of sense to me.
I think she said she was trying to go back in time to rid the Rangers before they even got started, so she can have her original body back.
Well, that makes more sense because to me, I'm like, well, you and your infinite wisdom now, you can just do your plan now.
She said it in a sentence. It was like the fastest sentence because I remember rewinding. Because like, what she just said? Like, you know, like that was why I only know that. But no, it was like I thought it was solid. Yeah, I like
it was solid. I will say though, I did enjoy this more than I enjoyed the 2017 movie.
Okay.
But I don't really like. I don't never trash the movie. I don't want to say that to trash it, but the movie's performance didn't do so well, and they were going to have 6 movies in a whole game. Well, now that this is doing better, somebody can pick back up that game. That's all I'm saying. Pick back up the game, please. I will buy the collector's edition. I will do my overtime if I need to.
One other thing is because, you know, obviously Adam and Aisha are doing space stuff. Yeah. Billy technically lives on another planet with one of the alien rangers.
Yeah.
And all that other stuff that the next season of Power Rangers is Cosmic Fury.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if they run into Min again or some of the SPA people while they're in space.
Okay.
Like I feel like they did this and then some of them will pop back up. I think they do need to be careful that they're like Cosmic Fury is their first original season.
Yeah.
But they're still pulling, of course, you know, the costumes and everything. I don't know how well it would go if their following original season is a Mighty Morphin reboot. Because people are already complaining about too much Mighty Morphin. I think they do have to do something else, but every once in a while, drop these specials so we can see what's happening with, I don't know, like, or do 2 series so we can also still see what's happening with Min.
Yeah.
I don't want that to just be done. Like, I want to see where else happens with her.
I do also, so this part might be controversial to an extent, but I have to question the creative path of it a little bit because what happened in the show they conveniently ignored like an elephant in the room, and the elephant is Tommy, and the situation that happened with Tommy. But the way that they left this off is we rewrote how Trini passed away, but we like ignored Tommy altogether. And it's like, if they do a second show, do you think they would do the same thing with Tommy the way they did with Trini, or do they just leave him in a mask and don't say nothing?
I think they're gonna leave Tommy alive. Like, I think if anything, he won't be back because he's fathering JJ.
Okay. And they'll say something like that, like he's a full-time dad or something.
Yeah,
and...
like he's gonna be a full-time dad. JJ, and because I imagine if he was still alive, they might have wanted to do Soul of the Dragon as an eventual thing, the graphic novel. But I think what they're just gonna do is like
his movie is still set to come out though, right?
Legend of the White Dragon. Yeah. Oh, but Soul of the Dragon was the graphic novel where it was like old man Tommy.
Yeah.
And he had the legendary morpher, and then at the end for that spoiler, but like JJ is a Power Ranger now. And he's like the SPD Green Ranger.
Yeah, I saw he put the shield on. It kind of looks silly, but yeah.
So, but I imagine they probably would have wanted to do that. I think instead it'll like time jump where JJ is going to be the new Ranger, and Tommy and Kat are at home and everything, something like that. Like I think if they do another special, the Green Ranger won't be there. Either he'll be
they'll conveniently leave him out completely. Because
Green Ranger will show up to help. Yeah. And it's going to be JJ instead of Tommy. He's like, my dad
gave me the Master Morpher or something.
Yeah.
Because it was strange, because I'm going to be honest, every time they showed the toy on the shelf in the machine with everything else, like all I could think about is what happened in real life with him. Like, and at the same time, I was also just thinking like they really built an entire thing around Trini.
Also,
and conveniently,
it's not a convenient thing. This was filmed last year,
right before it happened.
And Tommy wasn't coming back for the special because he was filming Legend of the White Dragon.
Yeah,
right. So they filmed it, and it was a special just for Trini, and then before it releases, Tommy dies. So that's why Jason dies. But if you notice, they did a little tribute thing for him.
They did. They did mention it at the very end. It was just interesting that because that just from the optics of it. But I don't think too many people are gonna really hold that to anything. And we can wrap this up whenever you're ready.
I would have also liked to see the other Rangers getting captured. They were just there in toy form. And it's
there's one thing I do want to mention though before we wrap up. Once the meter goes off, I think the footage goes off. But I do want to mention one thing. I think this answered a question that everybody had. If we're gonna count this as canon, Billy was Blue Ranger while the Phantom Ranger was on the shelf. Or not?
Yeah.
That answers that question, right? Doesn't it?
Phantom Ranger. Yep.
That answers the question.
But he's not the Phantom Ranger.
Yeah, but we're gonna run out of footage in about 60 seconds. So, any last words? Do you want to say anything else?
Nah, we're good. Go watch the special and give me my Power Ranger game.
Yeah. So that wasn't Billy. I don't know if I never saw anybody say that in the groups or anything either. But yeah, long episode again. It won't be long next week. But that's the end of it. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and we are out. Peace.